Welcome. Football time. Appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully you'll make plans every Monday to be right here throughout the fall. Thank you all for newspapers, print, all print and TV, radio for supporting us and promoting our program. I don't take it lightly. It's been a quick 21 months. You know, I looked at the calendar this morning, and going into year two, probably as confident as we've been. I'm proud of what we accomplished. We still got a lot of work to do to get this wall rebuilt, but it's been fun, and we're eager to get the season started. Glad to be starting it at home in front of our home fans. Expecting a big crowd on Saturday at 5 o'clock. Intentionally going away from the other two teams in the state, their game time. So we're expecting a really good crowd. I think it's huge for our football team to be opening here and to play that sixth game at home. It's going to be really vital to us, especially with a young football team that we'll talk about here in a second. Really quickly want to acknowledge it's Alumni Weekend, and this is the first year we've done that. And we're from here on out, we're going to have an Alumni Weekend where we bring former players and former coaches back, and we're going to try to honor at least one team every year. This year it's the 2001 team. So really 2001 is a huge year here, as all of you all know. First year in Division I classification, so Coach Blakeney and really we've had a great feedback. A lot of former players, a lot of participants on that football team will be here in attendance, doing a function on Friday night and on Saturday we're going to recognize them during the game. So that's going to be fun, and we're going to be educating our football team about the transition to Division I as we go about this week. Overall, to kind of touch base on kind of us, and then we'll get into some Austin Peay stuff. But in game one, I think it's important, especially in this season openers, we're going to focus on us. But overall, we're a really young football team. You know, Adam and I visited this morning. We only have 15 seniors on our roster. I think it's the fourth fewest in the country. We got 27 guys on this depth chart that we handed out to you all today that are going to play in their first Division I college football game on Saturday. So we're talented. The new guys can play. It's just time. It's time to put them out there and see how they're going to react. Defensively, our strengths should be up front. Rashad Dillard, a preseason first-team all-conference player, is back. He's made a really big jump from the end of last season. And then our defensive tackles, we've got a little bit of depth there. And then at our other end, we're glad to have Junior here, and he's going to be playing. He's one of those guys that's going to be playing new for us, not necessarily his new college football, or not new to college football. So our front seven, we got 4 senior linebackers that are interchangeable. You know, on the depth chart, not really sure who's going to start yet. Those guys have been really unselfish and set the tone on the defensive side of the ball. And the secondary, that's going to be much improved from a year ago. Offensively, we lost over 70% of our production. And with that, Brandon Burks, Teddy Rubin, those were our 2 main cogs last year. I'm not sure we have any one person that's going to step in and fill Brandon Burks or one receiver that's going to fill Teddy Rubin's. But I feel much better about us collectively on offense than I did a year ago. I only have 3 seniors, so the good thing is a lot of these guys that you're seeing on Saturday for the first time are going to be here 2, 3, 4 years playing a lot of football. We have 17 new guys in the 2 deep. 17 guys that will definitely play in the game on Saturday that have never played in a game for Troy or never played a Division I football game. So it'll be interesting. We're going to be better offensively. If you look at the stats, we played pretty well the last 6 games of the season last year. I expect that to carry over. It might take us a little while to gel, but we'll be an improved offensive unit for sure. And I think the reason behind that's Brandon Silvers. He's matured, had a really good fall camp, and we're better around him up front. And I think that's going to be an important piece. Special teams wise is the one area where we have a lot of experience. So, you know, all of our specialists have gotten experience. It's going to be a 3rd year starting for both our snappers. Ryan Kay in the punting role for his 3rd year, and then he's going to he'll take over the kicking duties that Jed had last year. But he did that as a sophomore, so it shouldn't be anything. We've got more bodies, and we're more athletic, so our special teams unit should be improved as well. Talking about Austin Peay, really have no idea what to expect. To be honest with you, they brand new head coach and Will Healy. The one thing I'm looking forward to is going to be the first pregame handshake where I'm actually the veteran. I'm older, so that'll be that'll be a first. That'll be a first. So that'll be a different experience. But they've got all new staff. Most of those guys come from Tennessee, Chattanooga. And Chattanooga has established itself as one of the top FCS programs in the country. So those guys are used to winning. They know what a successful program looks like. They know how to develop offensive and defensive units that have had success. So they'll have a lot of energy and enthusiasm just following them online and reading some of the newspapers in Clarksville. And I know those guys are gonna play. They're gonna come in here. They've got a lot of new guys as well, a lot of new faces, especially on defense. So I know they're going to come in with a lot of energy. I know they're going to be fundamentally sound. That's the one thing as you watch some Tennessee Chattanooga film, is those guys were well coached and they played sound football in all three phases. Offensively, they've got two guys that they're kind of battling for the starting quarterback position. A kid named Mitchell is a returner from last year. He played a lot. He's kind of a dual threat kid, and then they signed a junior college kid named Hayes from Butte out in California, and I was impressed watching his tape. Their best player, in my opinion, on offense is a wide receiver, Jared Beard. He's a guy that made a lot of plays last year. He had 49 receptions, 6 touchdowns. He's a solid built kid, 6', 205. They've got 2 running backs. Franklin is the starter on the depth chart. He redshirted last year, but they also returned Kendall Morris, who rushed for about 700 yards last year. And then their O-line has a lot of experience. So I think anytime you have some experience on the O-line, then you should be formidable on offense. Defense, they got co-coordinators. Both of them have a Chattanooga background. I'm familiar with several of their guys they have a lot of guys that are from Kentucky, and they're 2 deep. And so just being in that state when I was at the University of Kentucky, a couple guys that I think that our fans need to be aware of is a defensive tackle. Byron Carver is a guy that started at defensive end for him last year. He's explosive. He's from Bowling Green, went to Warren Central High School, was a good basketball player as well. He can make things happen in the middle. He's going to be a little bit undersized at D tackle, but he can run. At defensive end, they've got Lloyd Tubman, who's a guy that played for us at Kentucky for a year. He went to Trinity Valley Junior College. Now he's at Austin Peay. Really strong kid and passed the look test. He looks like a big-time SEC defensive end. And then in the secondary, I think their best defensive players are at corner. His name is Roderick Owens, a guy that's as good at corner as anybody in our league. So those are some guys to recognize. With that, I'll open it up to some questions. Mm-hmm. I think we'll pick and choose our battles. The one thing that we've got to focus on this year is we got to get more at bats. We got to get more plays. Use the baseball analogy. You got to get at bats to get a hit. Same thing. We got to get more plays. I think we were in the upper 60s last year plays per game. We need to get up 75 plus plays per game. Now part of that is we got to do a better job on first down. So we're into shorter distances on third down, but we'll pick and choose. Tempo is something we believe in, whether regardless of what age guys we're rolling out there. So we will tempo, but maybe pick and choose, especially here early. We will be simple going into the game plan. Brandon Silver's at a point where he can handle more, but the guys around him at running back. If you look at running back and receiver, a ton of new faces. So we will be simple in the schematics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's almost, just getting out of a staff meeting, and that's what I told our coaches is we respect Austin Peay, respect their staff and what they're trying to, and really familiar with what they're going through. But this week's about us. It's about us, and I think it's about us through this whole non-conference schedule to start the first 3 games starting the season. Until we play New Mexico State at home, we've got to figure out what we are. We got to figure out, where our strengths, what our weaknesses are. We've got to bring these. We're going to play a lot of guys. That's something that I'll tell you up front. We're going to play a lot of guys, offense and defense, in these first 2 football games for sure. So it's about us. We've got to be kind of vanilla. We got to be kind of simple schematics wise, just because we're so unsure about what we're going to see. Well, he's going to play out wide some. Let me go back, Jimmy. A couple of reasons. we feel like he's one of our best 11 players. And Jordan Chun's had a great fall camp, and so he'll be our feature back. Chun will. Flakes, we just felt like that he was one of our best 11 players. Tavares McCormick's going to be out with an injury. He'll miss the game on Saturday. Unsure of how long he will be out. So we felt like we needed some playmaking ability at that position. So moving Flakes there, he'll still get some carries. And we're going to play him not only in the backfield but also out wide at that spot where Tavares got most of his snaps during fall camp.
This is your second opening week here at Troy as a head coach. What's the difference, so far heading in?
Well, that's a good question. I think the biggest thing is I know what to expect. I'm just talking about from our staff. Other than Jordan Leslie, we're all back from last year. So, we shifted some special teams duties around, so that this will be the first game-like scenario that we're going through in that capacity. But our kids know what to expect. Our coaches know what to expect. We're in year 2 schematically, offense, defense. So now that we've got a lot of new faces, but I think there's just more confidence around the program as a whole.
Do you feel Brandon has a bit more pressure on his back to try and get it done this year?
I think most pressure comes from internal. So I think he's felt pressure from the day he arrived, really. If you look at the history and the tradition of quarterbacks here at Troy, I think that he knew what he was getting into when he came here. The quarterbacks at Troy are expected to win and put up big stats if you look over the last 10 or 12 years. That's been the case. So I think he has pressure on himself that he puts internally. I don't think within our staff or within our team, I don't think he senses any of that. Does he have to play well for us to win? Yes. That's where we're at. He has to play well. He knows that. That's not something we try to hide from him. We're going to go as he goes. Now, what has to happen in last year there was times where he didn't necessarily play bad. Georgia State game being one where he played pretty well, but we just didn't get it done around him. So that's the thing that we've got to do. We've got to do a better job protecting him up front, which we will. We're much improved up there. We got more bodies and we're just better. And then we've got to consistently make plays for him at wideout.
Back to the injuries, is there an update on Ishmael Salim?
Optimistic about him playing. Won't determine till after Wednesday's practice, but I'm optimistic.
How's the room progression on the offensive line? You got some confidence with those guys, a good rotation set?
Yeah, so we'll the depth chart that you see that's how we'll start. These guys will definitely play in the game. J.L. Gasson's going to play at center, true freshman. Kirk Kelly will definitely play. James Peach, both of those are redshirt freshmen. They'll definitely play. And look to see Taylor Edwards. Tristan Crowder, somebody we have not made a decision on. A lot of it depends on how it goes this week.
How much does it affect or hurt this team with Quisenberry now being ineligible for this upcoming?
Well, it's something that we've been planning for. This didn't just come up. It's we made an appeal to the NCAA. I thought our appeal had merit, and they're right. They denied that appeal, and he'll redshirt. Probably the best interest to him, coming off that broken leg against Lafayette last year in the final regular season game. So probably the best thing for his long term, being able to be productive here. He'll sit out and get that get the leg well, and then he'll play his senior year next season. So we've been preparing for it. So I'm not sure it's going to affect us. Other than he gives us some real toughness on offense and special teams.
What about Johnson and Thompson? How are they looking coming off injury?
Yeah, both of them will play. Both of them will play. Expect them to play at a high level.